Welcome to HiveMindLearning.com, Learning Made Easy. Today we will be covering some of the most impressive barbets you can find on the internet. The concept of a barbet is to do something entertaining and engaging with the possibility of earning a free drink. However, the main goal is just to be the most interesting person in the room. As a reminder, no one owes you anything. Do not attempt any of these with the expectation that you will trick someone into just giving you a free drink, or in some cases cash. You need to develop a rapport with the person you are doing these barbets with, and at the end of the day, you should both be happy with the results. To start one of these bets, it can be as simple as, "Hey, I have a puzzle for you, and if you can solve it, I will buy you a drink." All I ask is, if you can't solve it, you consider buying the answer from me for a drink. Does that sound good? Most people just looking to have a good time will probably be alright with the terms proposed. So, what will you need to pull these bar bets off? That will vary between bets, but if you want to be able to do everything in this video, you will want a pen and paper, a deck or two of playing cards, a few coins, and 3 or more D6 dice. Let's start with the puzzle. You go to the hardware store and purchase one. This costs you 10 cents. You go back and buy 10, which costs you 20 cents. You decide you need 100, which costs you 30 cents. What are you buying? The answer? You are buying house numbers. Each number costs 10 cents, so a 1, a 0, and another 0 would only be 3 numbers, which would cost 30 cents. It's important to make it sound like a quantity, but not specifically mention it's a quantity that you are talking about. Next up is a bet instead of a simple puzzle. Start with a pint glass on the table and ask if they think the glass is taller than the circumference. Say that you are betting it's taller and place a dollar bill in the taller pile. Allow them to make their bets. Then place a deck of playing cards under the glass. Ask if they still think it's taller. Allow them to change the pile. Then place another deck under the glass. Repeat the better process again. You can keep repeating as much as you want. The circumference will be more than up to 5 decks tall. Use a napkin to measure the circumference, then mark the length, and then measure the height. Next is another bet specifically for the bar. Most of these other bar bets can be used anywhere. A few of these are specifically for the bar. For this bar bet, you will need a bottle of beer, generally, a bendy straw, and a pint glass. The object of the game is for the person to get the beer from the bottle into the pint glass before you do. The rules of this game are that you cannot touch the bottle or the pint glass. Most people will probably want to use the straw to transfer a small amount at a time. The actual way to win this race is to point the straw into the pint glass and blow into the beer bottle. This will force the beer through the straw and into the glass. Next up is a puzzle. You have the equation 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals 550, which is clearly not accurate. You need to add a single straight line to make it a correct expression. Adding a line through the equal sign to make it not equal is not a valid answer. The actual answer is that you add a forward slash to the left of the plus sign, which turns the 5 plus 5 into 545. 545 plus 5 does indeed equal 550. Next is another puzzle. Using the same number 3 times and only one plus sign, create an equation equal to 60. The format has to be only one plus sign, so 20 plus 20 plus 20 equals 60 is not a valid answer. The actual answer is 55 plus 5 equals 60. Next is another puzzle. You are given 2, 3, 4, 5, plus sign, and an equal sign. Using only those, you need to create a true equation. So the format is number plus number equals number. The answer is 4 plus 5 equals 3 squared. 3 squared equals 9, and 4 plus 5 equals 9, so the equation is correct. This next puzzle requires a bit of work. You will need to remember the symbols or have it saved somewhere. Start by having them picture a digital clock or calculator display. Ask after looking at the sequence of symbols, they can figure out what symbol comes next, and ask them to explain their answer. When they ask for the answer, it might take a bit of explaining. The symbols are the inverse of the numbers you would see on a digital display. Since the next number in the sequence is 8, and 8 has all of the bars lit up on the display, the inverse is blank with all of the bars unlit. Next, we have another puzzle. Take the words new door to make one word. You have to use every letter. The answer is more simple than you might think. You can literally spell out one word with the letters. The next puzzle is important to write down and write down in order. Fast, beauty, home, war, king, feast, sky, ocean, Zeeplingstead. However, dead has a strike through it. To find the answer, it helps to count the number of words. It also helps to know about Roman mythology. The main grouping of 9 things most people might think of is the list of the planets in the solar system. Fast, Mercury, god of speed. Beauty, Venus, goddess of beauty. Home Earth, our home. War, Mars, god of war. King, Jupiter, king of the gods. Feast, Saturn, Saturnalia the feast. Sky, Uranus, god of the sky. Ocean, Neptune, god of the ocean. Dead, Pluto. Pluto used to be a planet, but now has a strike through as it's no longer a planet. This is a puzzle that makes sense once you figure out the pattern. Next is a riddle. You have 10 lit candles. You leave the room and come back to find you left the window open and 2 of the candles have blown out. You leave the room and return again to find another candle has blown out. You decide to shut the window and leave. When you come back in the morning, how many candles do you have? Your first thought might be that this is a trick question, and there are 10 candles. You didn't remove any candles. However, if you left the candles burning all night, you will have piles of wax where the candles used to be. That is, except for the 3 candles that were blown out. Next up is a number puzzle that you will need to write out. It can be a bit tedious. You will want to write the pattern that you see on the screen. At first it looks pretty random, but there is a pattern. The question to ask is Ove. If you can explain what the pattern is, I'll buy you a drink. To find the answer, start with the second line from the top, then look at the first, then move to the third line and look at the second line. You will notice 1. 1 looks like it could refer to the quantity of 1 in the line before it. 1 describes the quantity of 1 in line 2. If you look for this pattern through all of the lines, you will notice that each line describes the line before it. The next puzzle is going to take some work to figure out. You will want to use a piece of paper to write things down and figure this out. A man poses a puzzle to his friend. I want you to guess the ages of my 3 daughters. I'll give you 3 hints. The product of their ages is 72. The sum of their ages equals the number of the house across the street. The eldest daughter loves chocolate. To solve the puzzle, we start with the first clue. The product of the daughter's ages is 72. This gives us several possible combinations of 3 positive integers whose product is 72, e.g. 1 times 1 times 72, 1 times 2 times 36, 2 times 6 times 6, 3 times 3 times 8, etc. Next, the second clue states that the sum of their ages matches the number on a neighboring house. Since this still doesn't identify a unique combination, it implies that multiple age groups share the same sum. In this case, only 2 combinations of numbers multiply to 72 and share the same sum. 2, 6, and 6, sum equals 14. 3, 3, and 8, sum equals 14. The third clue clarifies the ambiguity. The eldest loves chocolate. This suggests there is a distinct oldest daughter. Of the 2 sets, only 3, 3, and 8 has a unique eldest child, age 8. The other group, 2, 6, 6, has no clear eldest since 2 daughters are the same age. Therefore, the daughters' ages are 3, 3, and 8. The next puzzle is probably a bit easier than the last one. There are 4 people who have been placed in a room. 1 person is placed on one side of a wall, and the other 3 are placed on the other side of the wall. They are all given a white or black hat. They do not know what the color of their hat is, but they know there are 2 of each color, and all 4 hats have been distributed. The rules they must follow or be executed are: they can only continue looking forward, they cannot speak to each other, and they have to say with certainty what color of hat they have with an explanation. They can't guess. How do they figure out, with certainty, what color hat they have? The person wearing the white hat, positioned between 2 individuals with black hats, realizes their own hat is white based on logical deduction. If the person at the back had seen 2 black hats in front of him, he would have immediately concluded that his own hat must be white. However, since he remained silent, it indicates he did not see 2 black hats. Therefore, the person in the middle, who only sees 1 black hat, must be wearing a white hat. Now everyone knows their color. Now, time for a game. This game is called petals around the rose. To play this game, you will need 3 or more D6 dice. The rules of the game are simple. Someone throws the dice and tells you the number value of the roll. Your goal is to explain why the value of the roll is what it is. There is a simple pattern to it, and once you figure it out, you will be part of the order of the rose. To find the answer to this game, you need to think on the name of the game. Then look at the dice and see if you notice anything that look like a flower. Take a look at the number 5 side of the dice. There is a center pip that kind of looks like the middle of a flower, and the pips around the edges are the petals. All you need to do is count the petals around the rose. If there isn't a center pip for the petals to encircle, then they don't count. So a 3, 3, 5, and 4 roll. There are only 3 dice that have petals. So you only count the petals on those dice, which add up to 8. The next barbet is also a magic trick. Start with shuffling the deck of cards fairly. Then sneak a peek at the bottom card of the deck before you ask them to pick a card. Make sure to remember the card, as it is the key to the trick. It's actually called a key card, and there are a whole range of card tricks designed around the principle of a key card. After the pick their card, have them place it on top of the deck. Then you cut the deck in half and hand them the bottom half to complete the cut. You then start flipping the top cards over on the table. It's best to move side to side, so keeping track of the key card and the selected card that you flipped over after it is easy. Once you have flipped their card over, keep going for a few more cards. Give no indication that you know where their card is. Then say, "I bet you a drink that the next card I flip over is your card." While you say this, hold the card like you are certain that will be their card when you flip it over. They will think, since you already placed their card on the table, you are going to lose the bet. After they agree to the bet, flip over their card on the table back to face down. This is a fairly reliable barbet because you give them false confidence that they are assured to win. There are other prediction tricks you can use in this same manner to score free drinks. Next up is a fairly popular logic puzzle that you can use as a barbet. You stand before 2 doors that are guarded by 2 guards. One guard always tells the truth, the other never tells the truth. Unfortunately, there is no way to tell who is who. One door leads to something very good, and the other to something very bad. The guards tell you that you may ask one of them a single question to determine which door to take. What is the question that you ask, and to whom do you ask it? There is one answer generally accepted to be correct, but there may be other answers that can work if they can be explained to definitively determine the correct door to take. First, what is the question we need to ask? Since we do not know who is the liar and who always tells the truth, you can't just ask which door to take and know for sure that is the correct answer. So you should ask to either of the 2 guards, what would the other guy say is the door I should take? If you are talking to the truth teller, he will say what the liar would tell you, the wrong door. If you are asking the liar, he will tell you the opposite of the correct door to take. So the answer is you need to ask what the guard would tell you to do and then do the opposite. The next puzzle is a bit easier. Susan is 10, Isabella is 20, Jim and John are both 5, Richard is also 10. So what is Jennifer? You don't need any more information about the names to solve this puzzle. To find this answer, we need to figure out what pattern exists between the names and the numbers. If we look at the longer names, they tend to have longer numbers. One idea might be to count the letters, but Jim would only be 3 and John would be 4, but they both have a value of 5. How about syllables? Jim equals 1 syllable. Susan equals 2 syllables. Isabella equals 4 syllables. If we assign each syllable a value of 5, the pattern makes sense. So the answer is Jennifer equals 15 because she has 3 syllables with a value of 5 in her name. The next puzzle requires 4 matches. With 4 matches in an X pattern, move just 1 match to create a square. There might be multiple solutions to this, but the main solution is to slightly pull out one of the matches to create a tiny square where the butt ends of the matches meet. The next puzzle also uses matches. Using 6 matches, make 2 side-by-side triangles. The object of this game is to turn the 2 triangles into 4 triangles. You can only move a single match to accomplish the objective. There are 2 solutions to this puzzle. The first solution is to move the right side of the left triangle to turn the left triangle into a 4. This creates 4 triangle. The second solution is to create a 3D pyramid. You move the 3 matches from the other triangle to each of the corners of the first triangle and stand them up. This creates 3 triangles on the sides and 1 on the base for a total of 4 triangles. Now time for another match-based bet. The matches create the equation 7 equals 1 in Roman numerals. You can only move a single match to make it a true expression. A slash through the equal sign is not valid. The answer is to move a match from the VII to make a square root over one match. The square root of 1 is 1. The next puzzle is a logic puzzle. There is a hotel with infinite rooms. Each room is currently booked up with infinite guests. One night, a countably infinite number of guests arrive to check in. How do you get each of the infinite guests a room in the hotel that is infinitely booked up? The solution to this problem relies on there being infinite hotel rooms. Even though there is an infinite amount of guests, you have an infinite amount of rooms. So you can move each current guest to the even number rooms and each new guest to odd numbered rooms. The expression is n plus 1. You can use this trick to do this infinitely. If you need to give an easier puzzle, this one is relatively simple. Without using a dictionary, create 3 different words using only and all of the letters L, G, N, E, A. The answers are angle, angel, and gleam. The next puzzle is a word puzzle. Men are worth 32. Dogs are worth 45. What are women worth? This is not a trick question. The answer can be found if you assign each letter a numerical value based on its position in the alphabet. A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, etc. W equals 23. O equals 1, 5, M equals 13, E equals 5, N equals 14, added up equals 70. So the answer is, women are worth 70. Here is an interesting bet that requires a bit of preparation. To start, pick a number between 10 and 10,000. Next, you are going to add up each digit in the number and subtract that from the original number. So if you chose 1,111, you would add 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 to equal 4. Then you subtract 4 from 1,111 to get 1107. Then add up all of the digits until you get a single number. 1 plus 1 plus 0 plus 7 equals 9. Before you chose a number, I made a prediction. In my pocket, I have the exact amount of $1 bills equal to your number divided by 2. If my prediction is correct, how about you buy me a drink? If it's wrong, I will buy you a drink. Your answer should be 4.5. In my pocket, I have 4 $1 bills and a fifth that is cut in half. How this works is that whatever number you choose, it's a multiple of 9. So if you follow the steps correctly, the answer should always be 9. So if you keep 4 $1 bills and another that is cut in half, then you can always accurately predict the result. The next bet has 2 variations. The first is to create a square using only 2 straight lines. The size doesn't matter. The other variation is to create a square with 3 straight lines. Both have a similar answer. Since you don't have to draw a full square but just create one, you can use the lines in conjunction with something else. For the variation with only 2 lines, draw a 90-degree angle at the corner of the paper. This will create a square with 4 sides. 2 from the lines you draw, and 2 from the edges of the paper. Same principle applies with the 3-line variation. You draw 3 sides of the square at the edge of the paper, using the edge as the 4th side. This bet is a fun and clever way to initiate a lighthearted conversation and potentially get someone's phone number. The premise is that you'll predict the final result of a series of calculations, using numbers the other person provides. Here's how to present it professionally and smoothly. I'm going to write down a prediction and place it on the table. We'll need a random number for this. Let's use parts of your phone number, since there's no way I could know it. But don't include your area code. Actually, what is your area code? Okay, we won't use that part. Now walk them through the following steps on a calculator. Enter the first 3 digits of your phone number, excluding area code. Multiply that by 80. Press equals. Add 1. Press equals. Multiply the result by 250. Press equals. Add the last 4 digits of your phone number. Press equals. Add those same last 4 digits again. Press equals. Subtract 250. Press equals. Now say, let's see what number we ended up with. May I see the calculator? Take the calculator, glance at the number, and as they check your written prediction, you divide the number on the calculator by 2. The result will be their full phone number. Then, using the area code they mentioned earlier, you can reveal the final answer by calling the number A surprising and charming reveal. While they're checking your fake prediction, just a random number you wrote earlier, you can casually say something like, "Wow, not even close," or "Maybe I was," and proceed with the reveal. Next is a simple trick to help you win any coin toss. For this bet, you are just going to bet a drink on if the coin comes up heads or tails. Rest the coin heads up if you are betting on heads, and tails up if you are betting on tails, on your middle finger. Pinch with your thumb and snap your fingers. The snap would cause the coin to spin and wobble, which makes it look like a fair flip. But since it never actually flips, you will always win if you put the side you want face up. The last bar bet for this video will be the closest to fair. We are betting on tic-tac-toe. The bet is, if the game ends in a tie, you will buy them a drink. If the game ends with someone winning, they buy you a drink. Since most games end in ties, it should be pretty fair. However, if you make your first move a corner, and your second move to force a win condition, you should be able to win this bet almost every time. As an additional tip for all of these bets, you can ask every time you win if they want to go double or nothing. Since you are very likely to win almost every bet in the video, you can stockpile your wins and then let them off the hook with just one drink. This increases your chances that they will actually want to buy you a drink. They owe you multiple, but you are fine with just one and you both had fun earning that drink. These bar bets should not be taken very seriously, but instead should just be about having fun. Additionally, you can try using some of the tricks from the Practical Magic video as bar bets as well. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Hive Mind Learning YouTube channel for more educational content.